This week, I'm going to share a study plan that I created for those times when life happens and you don't have a lot of time, but you want to stay sharp and not have your chess game deteriorate. I'll explain in detail. That's coming up. Stick around.
Welcome to the Chess Angle. This is not your typical chess podcast. If you're an amateur or club-level player, the Chess Angle is for you. Our content is aimed at busy adults who are serious about the game but have limited study time. Featured guests include both amateur and titled players alike. And now, here's your host, Director of the Long Island Chess Club, Neal Bellon.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 67. As always, thank you so much for listening. I want to start out with two production notes. First, next week's episode will feature a guest and a new segment I'm going to be adding. And second, I'm overhauling our YouTube channel over the next month or so that it has full episodes for our entire catalog, all the way from episode 1 through the most current release. So that should be very cool. The clips that are there now will either be removed or placed in a separate playlist. I'm thinking I may take them out, so this way the channel is just full episodes. I like the consistency of that. But anyway, by the time you're listening to this, there should be some full episodes on there already, so you can comment, like, etc. It's basically our YouTube channel 2.0. To be clear, it's the same channel. I'm simply doing a major update, so if you're already subscribed, you're good. If not, we would love it if you would consider doing so. There's a link in the show notes, or you can just find the Chess Angle podcast on YouTube. So that is yet another platform where you can enjoy the content. Before I get into this week's main topic, I'm going to begin with a listener mailbag question. A reminder, you are all welcome to submit a question or topic idea. It's great for me because it helps me come up with content ideas, and it's great for you because it lets me know which topics you find relevant. You can hit me up on Twitter at The Chess Angle or email me at info@thechessangle.com. There are links for both of those in the show notes as always. I can't promise your question or topic idea will be used in an episode, but I will absolutely read any submissions that I receive. And again, this is open to everyone. There's no Patreon or paywall or membership requirement to ask a question. If you're enjoying this podcast and listening regularly, then you can submit questions. That's how I roll. So even if I do add a Patreon down the road, submitting questions and topic ideas will still be open to everyone. You're all busy. You have lots of commitments. So the fact that you're spending an hour with us each week really means a lot. So let's do it.
You've got mail.
This question comes from Mandan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He contacted me via email, and he writes, "Hey Neal, I've been playing chess since I was a child, but it's not until very recently that I've been motivated to improve. I'm currently making my way through Back to Basics Tactics by Dan Heisman, and I'm noticing the way I see the board changing already. My question is, what time control would you recommend for early improvers and why? I'm currently playing a lot of daily and 5-minute rapid chess, but neither feels very practical for improving. In your experience, what's the sweet spot? I'm really enjoying the podcast as an accompaniment to my chess study." Well, Mandan, thank you for the kind words. Glad you're enjoying the pod. I suspect this is probably a popular question. A lot of people are thinking about it. And I'm going to be honest, it's tough to give a universal answer because everyone's needs are different. And I'm sure if you asked 10 different people, including grandmaster coaches, you might get 10 different answers. Now, as far as Back to Basics Tactics by Dan Heisman, I'm not familiar with that book, but Dan Heisman has a phenomenal reputation. So by all accounts, I'm sure it's good. I've heard nothing but good things. And it's important that you're working on the basics as well, not hanging pieces, noticing those basic elementary 1 to 2 move tactics that win material, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure you're doing that. I'm assuming it's probably covered in that book. So that's good. Keep working on the tactics for sure. Now, as far as time controls, I think you kind of answered your own question because you're doing these 5-minute rapid games. I assume you mean 5-0, and you said it doesn't seem practical. I agree, because if you're sort of an early improver, when you play those sort of 5-0 or 3-0 with no increment, you're essentially just moving pieces. Probably you're just reacting, and that's not good. You want to develop your board sense and an understanding of patterns. I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to help, but if you do that without studying and analyzing your games, I don't know how much it's going to help you. But I would say, as a general answer, play as slow a time control as you can, that you feel like you're learning and you're improving and that you're actually thinking and you're understanding why you're moving the pieces, rather than just moving it just for the sake of moving it, because that's a very common problem. People just kind of move pieces. So play as slow as you can so that you're enjoying it and that you're comfortable. Now, I realize online that can be tough to do. Like, for example, instead of a 5-0, I would recommend you try something like 5-5. That's my favorite. Or if you can do something longer, even like a 10-minute game with a 5-second increment, or even a 15-minute game. I realize playing on a computer online, that can seem like an eternity. I know it's also hard to get some of those games. Like, if I just want to play kind of a quick game, if I put in for a 5-5, I sometimes won't get an opponent because everyone wants to play 5-0 games. Now, the 5-0 games are okay occasionally. Like, I do those once in a while, but I wouldn't do that as sort of the main meat of your study plan. So I would look for something slower. Like I said, maybe like a 10-5 or a 5-5. Definitely use an increment, but you want to feel that you're in the game and that you understand what you're moving. That's the main thing. So if you feel, like you said, like you're not improving with those 5-0s, you might want to hold off on those or just do them occasionally. So I hope that helps. And again, it's hard to give a specific number, but the most important thing I'll say, Mandan, whatever time control you play online, you need to review your games with an engine or a coach if you have one. That's where the learning is going to come in. Don't just play a game online and regardless of whether you win, lose, or draw, you just jump ahead to the next game. All right. So if you play online, analyze the game to see where you went wrong. That's really where the instruction comes in. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later when I talk about this study plan. But thanks, Mandan, for your email. I really appreciate it. So for this episode, I want to share with you, and I use the word share. That's important. I'm not telling, I'm just sharing. That's true for most of my opinions. So when I explain this, you can take it, you can throw it away. All right. But I'm just, putting it out there. So I'm calling this the Puzzle Rush +1 study plan. And what this is, it's for those times when we're just busy and things aren't really settled down and we can't study as much as we want. There might be a period of a few days or a week or even several months or more where this happens. And understand what I'm going to speak about. This is not a permanent study plan. This is a stopgap. This is a Band-Aid until things settle down. And the idea is that by doing this condensed study plan during these busy times, you're at least still in the game, no pun intended. In other words, when you sit down to play a game, you won't feel rusty. You'll still feel somewhat sharp, at least more sharp if you weren't studying at all. And it's certainly better than no plan at all. Because what a lot of us do, myself included, we sort of get extreme. It's like, well, if I can't study the way I want, I'm just not going to bother. I'm not going to do it at all. We have to realize you don't need to get that sort of dramatic or extreme. When things are busy, just condense it. Come up with something that's shorter, but that you can still do every day, despite your schedule, until such time that things get back on track. And that's how it is for me now. Because right now, the main thing is my graduate school work on top of, family work. That stuff's always going to be there. But in addition to that, what's really eating up a lot of time is my graduate schoolwork. And that's not a complaint at all. I'm happy to do it. This is my choice. I wouldn't change it. But rather than not study at all, when things get really busy, I can use this Puzzle Rush +1 study plan. And if there's time between semesters, or if I have, some lighter weeks, then I can kind of go back to some more intensive study. So like I said, this is a plan that you're going to use when you need it, when quote unquote life happens. It's not sort of a lifetime study plan. And like I said, it'll just kind of help you feel like fresh, like it'll help you stay sharp so that when you sit down to play a game, you at least feel like you have a chance. In other words, if I go to the club and I sit down, rather than say, okay, this is the first time in a week I'm seeing a chessboard, I can say, all right, I did this study plan a little bit. I feel okay. I feel I can hold my own. Now, what do I mean by life happens? A lot of things. Maybe you're having a baby, you found out you're becoming a parent, and once your child's born, you don't have a lot of time. Or maybe it's a family thing. Maybe it's a work thing. Maybe it's, something happened in your life that you need to deal with. Your schedule is more busy. You know what I'm talking about. So when these things happen, that's when this can really help. Now, let me just give an example. I remember, and those of you who are parents maybe can attest to this. I'm just curious. This was my experience. When I first announced that I was going to be a father, there were sort of two camps, right? You had one group of people, which was most people, congratulations, that's great, that's awesome, all these good things. And then you had, if I'm being honest, there was a crew of people where it was almost like these tongue-in-cheek, passive-aggressive, or even just downright overt, cynical comments. Like they would say, oh, your life's going to change. You're going to be dead. Oh, your life's going to change. Or you're done. You're done. Once you have kids, you're done. You know that, right? You're done. Once you have kids, you're done. Or, my personal favorite, once you have a baby, if you go to like a party or a wedding, sometimes you don't even have time to eat. You need to know that. You won't be able to sit down and eat. Like, this is just what I went through. I don't know if other people had, a crew of, friends or coworkers who said these things, but, it was very interesting. And then you had another crew actually where they only started talking to me or it's kind of like, hey, how you doing? Like acknowledging me once they found out I was becoming a dad. It's really weird. Okay, so now that I'm having a kid, like I'm worthy of your attention. I don't know. People are strange like that. But why am I giving you that whole speech about that? Because something like becoming a parent or any change in schedule, it's not like you're done and your life's going to change. Yeah, of course it is. But it's not like you have to completely give up something that you like. You just won't be able to do it at the level that you might have been used to because you have other priorities that are more important, understandably. That's all I'm saying. So when these things happen, I'm just saying this is something you can use to kind of keep things going. All right, that's all, even though you'll have less time, understandably. So that's what this is all about. So before I discuss the actual plan and how it works, let me define what Puzzle Rush is. I suspect most of you know, and because a lot of people use it and it's very popular, but for the sake of thoroughness, I'm going to kind of go back to the beginning. Puzzle Rush is a feature on chess.com. It first came out around 2018, maybe 5 years ago from when I'm recording this, something like that. And at the time, if I'm being honest, I thought it was more of like a trendy chess entertainment, like not a serious improvement tool. I thought it was almost like a gimmicky type of thing. And I was dismissive of it when it first came out. So I just want to be honest about that. And I never really gave it a second look. Then after a while, I did it again for a little bit and I was like, all right, this is okay. Nothing great. Maybe I didn't give it enough of a shot, but it was kind of one of those things like, it's there, but I'm not really using it. But my mind changed recently and now it's really grown on me and I've been using it. I basically did a 180 on this, and that's thanks to National Master Anthony Levin, who we had on last week, who really won me over on this. He was talking about how he uses it, and he's a national master. He uses it on a regular basis, and it's really helped him. And it sort of put this bug in my ear. Like when he said it, I'm like, all right, maybe I need to rethink this. Maybe I didn't give it enough of a shot. He's right. And I've been using it. I'm going to talk about it a little more, how it works specifically, but I'm really enjoying it. And I'm using it as part of this condensed study plan. And, that's what happens. Sometimes you talk to people, you get a different perspective, and, you change your mind. And that's important to have that kind of flexibility. So as I said, I really took a 180 with Puzzle Rush, and I do feel that it can be a valuable tool. Now, the rules are simple. I'm sure most of you know this. You need to solve as many puzzles as you can in just 3 or 5 minutes. I generally do the 5 minutes. If you get 3 wrong solutions, you're out, regardless of how much time you might have left. So 3 strikes and you're out, as they say. And the puzzles are generally tactical in nature. It's not really positional. All right. You're not like, what move do you make to control the dark squares? That's not what it is. It's really quick tactical moves. Most of the solutions are not very difficult. In other words, if you were to look at each position in isolation without a clock, you'd probably be able to figure it out. But what makes it tricky is just the rapid movement of it, right? That's why they call it Puzzle Rush. And again, they're tactical in nature. There's a lot of mate and ones, like the queen and bishop mate, where the bishop supports the queen. There's a lot of back rank mates where the king doesn't have an escape square. Some of them involve sacrificing your queen. For example, if your queen and rook are on a battery, your queen will go to the back rank with check. His rook will take your queen, but then your rook takes his rook, that type of thing. Some of them are a little trickier to see at first. Like there's ones where you trap the opponent's queen, or there's ones where the computer will make a move on one side of the board and it's really a smoke screen because on the other side of the board, something's hanging. So it's really great for board vision. Some of them, again, involve hanging pieces. Some of them are 2 to 3 move tactical sequences that win a piece. But again, they're generally tactical in nature. And there's an article you might want to check out. I'll link it up. It's called Are You Addicted to Puzzle Rush? It's a chess.com article. And I'm looking at it now, and it explains what it is and gives some examples. Now, there's one section in the article where the author, it's written by a grandmaster, he gives sort of a rough estimate of what your scores mean. Now, I don't know how literal you should take this. So, for example, it says 9 or fewer correct answers. You probably just started playing chess. 10 to 19, you are an experienced club player. 20 to 29, you are a strong tournament player. 30 to 39, you're at least a master. And then 40 to 49, you're a GM or will be one soon. Now, for me, if you're familiar with the Puzzle Rush scores, like people who score, say, over 40, I can't even wrap my head around that. Like, that's crazy. For me, I think my highest is 25. I generally score between 20 and 25. Like I said, I've only been doing this for about a few weeks now, but that's usually my range between 20 and 25. So according to this chart, that makes me a quote unquote strong tournament player. I mean, that's what it says here, but I was looking at Reddit. Some people disagree with these, but it's just a rough guide. I wouldn't take it too literally, but you might want to check out this article. It's kind of cool. Again, it's called Are You Addicted to Puzzle Rush? I'll put a link in the show notes. So that's some background on it if you want to check it out. And the reason I like it, as I'm doing it and as it's grown on me, it does help with tactics, with board vision, with decision making, and playing with a clock. In other words, it's tournament conditions on a shot of espresso, so to speak. And most of the puzzles, again, they're not really difficult. But what makes it challenging, again, is the speed at which it happens and it switches side. One time you're white, one time you're black. And so it's like takes me a minute. The reason my score isn't higher, it just kind of takes me a minute to just like calibrate. Okay, now who's moving? And, it's really how fast you can kind of size up the position. And I'll give you some of my own thoughts on how to use Puzzle Rush most effectively. So now, what exactly is this Puzzle Rush +1 study plan? That's the name I came up with. There's probably a hipper name for it, but that's what I called it. Now, I created this organically. It just sort of happened as I was trying to come up with a way to still feel sharp, not to not lose my edge, but understanding that because of my schedule recently, I just have very limited time and, brain bandwidth. You have to remember it's 2 things. When you plan study time, it's 2 things. Number one, you have to have the time, but then you also have to have the bandwidth for it. So for example, you've had a tough day at work, you're dealing with things at home and, yada, yada, help with homework, dinner, whatever it is. And it's 8, 9 at night. Okay, fine. Maybe I have a half hour or an hour, but your brain is so fried that you try to do a quote unquote regular study plan. And then because you're so tired, it's not working out, and then you get frustrated, and then you feel like you're disrespecting the game, and it's like you were better off just not, that type of thing. Instead of dealing with that frustration, because this plan is much shorter and it's going to be a short duration, that kind of helps you get through it, even if you're not really feeling it and you're tired. And in a way, that's good, because a lot of times when you play your tournament games, you're not going to be 100%. Anyway, so what it is, it's basically a 20 to 30 minute study plan per day. And if 30 minutes is too much, that's okay. You can do 15 or 20 minutes. But that's the idea, basically between 15 and 30 minutes per day. And what you do is you do one puzzle rush. That's it, just one, and one other thing. That's why I call it puzzle rush plus one. So you do one round of puzzle rush, and then you do one other thing. Now, before I get to the one other thing, when I say you do one round of puzzle rush, I would recommend the 5 minutes. And this is big. You need to review the ones you missed. That's where the instruction comes in. So one round of 5-minute puzzle rush, and go back and review the ones you missed. Now, what I'll do, if there was one that I missed, now usually, again, because when you review it and the clock's not running, 9 times out of 10, you're like banging your head like, oh my God, like how did I not see that? That's typical. But I'll still go over it 3, 4, or 5 times or more if I had a little bit of trouble at the time. And I'll say, why did I? And, you kind of develop a pattern of positions that way. So one round of 5-minute puzzle rush, and review the ones you missed. And then you do one other thing. That's plus one. So it could be other tactical puzzles. It could be a chess.com lesson. It could be something from a book, maybe 3 or 4 pages from a book. It could be a Chessable course or part of it. It could be an instructional video, something with openings, or reviewing one of your tournament games with an engine. So that's the plan. You do one puzzle rush, review the ones you missed, plus one other thing, whatever you're working on. And what I'm finding is actually several things. Is number one, it removes any possible like frustration because you feel like you're not studying and that your game might deteriorate. Number two, when you sit down to play a game, especially over the board, you still feel like somewhat fresh, like you've done some chess work, as opposed to, sitting down at a tournament, not having looked at a chessboard all week. And number three, when you get back to a regular study plan, when you do have more time, you won't feel like you're that far behind. And I just want to emphasize this again. This is not a permanent study plan. This is just something to use when you need it, just to get through it. Like I said, it's a Band-Aid. Okay. But I've been doing it for about a week or two, and I'm finding that, it's helping. I mean, I'm enjoying it. And that's the other thing too. You want to enjoy what you're studying. And here's the problem. If I said, well, do 2 puzzle rushes or 3, then you might not do it. The fact that it's only going to be 1 is kind of motivation to do it. And what I'm finding also for me, because I thought the problem was going to be, I'm going to get addicted to it, I'm going to want to do another one and another one. I really don't. Like, I can do just one and walk away. Try that with a 5-0 blitz game. That's not going to happen. Okay, because that's like potato chips. That's worse than potato chips. You try to play 5-0 blitz, you can't just play one game and walk away. No way. Anyone who says, oh, I can just play one 5-0 game and walk away, he or she's a bold-faced liar. No way. Nobody can do that. Maybe some people can, but the vast majority of people are not going to be able to play just one game of blitz and walk away. But with Puzzle Rush, I can do that, right? I do Puzzle Rush, one other thing. So I'm finding for me, it doesn't quite have that addictive nature. Now, that's just me. Other people I know do find it addicting. I'm just giving my own personal experience. Now, a few things on how to do Puzzle Rush properly, like quote unquote properly. First thing, and many other people have said this. This is not original information from me. Don't guess. Don't guess. That's going to lead to very poor habits. I've mentioned this before. You might want to check out episode 19 of this podcast. It's titled, Do Chess Puzzles Really Help? And in that episode, I basically say, yes, they do, if you do them correctly, and guessing is not a part of that, right? You do not want to guess. Know why you're making a move, okay? To use it as an improvement tool for tournament conditions, go for accuracy. Do not get obsessed with the score, all right? So you want accuracy. If you're just trying to get the highest score possible, you're going to get sloppy, all right? I'd rather you get a lower score and get most or all of them right than you try to rush and then you get 3 wrong. And now you may say, well, it's called Puzzle Rush, right? That's just the title, but let's not be Captain Literal with that. And what I suspect is as you get better at it, your score will just increase organically. Like I wouldn't force that. And as I mentioned, and this bears repeating, when you're finished, you need to review the ones you missed. Don't just move on to something else or do another one. That's where you're going to learn. It's the same thing when you play like your blitz games and you just go from one game to the next without reviewing. But the first part about not guessing, that's very, very important. And now I am actually going to do, as part of this episode, a 5-minute round of Puzzle Rush. That's coming up right now. All right, now this is legit. I'm doing one take. It's not like I'm going to do this 5 times and wait until I get a great score. And that's what everyone is going to think. I'm like, no, I have limited time to record these podcasts. When I carve out time, that's what happens. I mean, believe me, I've recorded and published things that you've heard where, you know, I felt I could have done this better or that, but it's what it is. So I'm telling you up front, and I know my score is probably going to be a little bit lower because I'm multitasking. I'm speaking, but that's fine. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing this just to show you how I use it. I'm going to talk out loud. I don't care what the score is. I just want to try to get through it without getting any wrong. And when time runs out, it runs out. All right. So here we go. This is for real. This is one take. I don't care if this is a total nightmare, but we're doing it. So this is a 5-minute Puzzle Rush, and I am clicking play now. So we got the countdown, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is basically queen, f7 checkmate with the bishop. All right, queen takes rook, back rank mate. It's pretty simple. Queen takes rook on the back rank. Okay, these are all back rank mates. He just took a pawn. White. Okay. Oh, bishop check. There we go. Okay, that was a mate in 1. Knight fork, is that it? Yep. Rook takes, king takes, yep. Okay, he's attacking my queen. Oh, mate, okay. It's just funny when you look at these when you're not timed. It's like, how did I miss that? He's, what am I doing here? Oh, is that it? Check. No, I missed that one. I thought, okay, I have to go back and look at that one. Bishop takes, oh, queen mate. Okay. Rook takes. It's very easy in the abstract as you're doing it. He's attacking my queen. Oh, here, checkmate on the other side. That's what they do. They move a piece on one side to distract you, but the action's on the other side. Let me see here. Knight. Oh, check. There we go. And then mate. That was a mate in 2. Okay. Queen. Yeah, queen and knight and queen and bishop mates are pretty common. All right, king over. Oh, rook takes with the bishop. Okay. And then, oh, mate in 1. Some of these, I'm like embarrassed. I should be getting them a lot quicker. Knight is knight. That, yeah, knight takes pawn. Okay. And then queen mate. Okay. Mate in 2. Oh, okay. Mate. All right. All right. He's got, this is a rook and pawn ending. Oh, rook over mate. There it is. Okay. Is this queen? Yep. Queen, h5 check. If he moves the pawn, I take with the knight and then the rook is right. That was one of those traps where the rook was pinned to the queen. Okay. You have no idea what I'm talking about because you can't see it. All right. The knight, he's attacking my rook. Oh, wait a minute. If I go knight takes bishop, is it knight? Is it knight? Oh, what am I not seeing here? He's attacking. All right. This is one of those when I look at, I'm going to kick myself. What am I not? All right. Knight takes bishop. That was wrong. All right. I got 2 wrong. All right. I thought that was it. Okay. My score is 16, but I don't care because I'm doing like 5 things at once. Oh, this is a rook sack. Rook takes pawn check. Yep. Okay. Sometimes they let you finish the mate. Other times they keep going, I think. Oh, this is the smothered mate with the knight. Okay. And okay, this is winning. I just can't. It's this one. Yep. Mate in 1. Oh. Queen mate. Sneaky little queen move. That pins the rook, and then we do this. Little mate in 3. Got you there. Okay. Oh, I did get a score of 20. All right. So according to that article, I am a quote-unquote strong tournament player. Yeah, right. But then when you're actually at the club, it never works out that way because you're playing like a 1,000 player who's like a monster. Okay. What am I doing here? Knight. What am I not seeing here? All right. I have 15 seconds left, 14. I don't see the right move. That's the age-old question. Would you rather lose on time or blunder? I'm not going to guess. I don't see the right move. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So I did get a score of 20. All right. I got 2 wrong, and then the last one I missed. So what I do now is I go see what I did wrong. Let me look at this first one. So this is where I kick myself and say, you idiot, how'd you not see that? Okay. So this one, do I actually need to click the hint button? What am I not? These are supposed to be like easy puzzles, excuse me. Okay. Let me look at this one. So the 2 knights. So I'm white here. Oh my God. It's a smothered mate in 1. All right. How did I not see that? Okay. Oh, play problem. Okay. It's a smothered mate. Okay. Because the pawn attacks my knight. All right, that was embarrassing. That was just a simple mate in 1 with the knight, but I was looking over here. It was a little weird to see the way it was. Okay, all right. This is where we all say, yeah, I would have gotten that in a slow time control. It's only Puzzle Rush. All right, so I got that one wrong. And then what was this other one I got wrong? This was that. Yeah, what was this? This was that. Okay, so I'm white here. I have a rook and a knight. He has a rook and a bishop. The bishop's attacking my rook. Oh, okay. I see what it is. Okay. I move my rook and then it pins his bishop and then you win a piece. Now I see it. All right. It's always amazing when the clock isn't ticking. All right. This is a simple. All right. So my knight is attacking his bishop, which is on the same rank as his rook. So it's got to be, yeah, rook F2. Yep. Now I got it. And then he goes up and then knight takes the bishop. Okay. So that was a neat little tactic that wins a piece. All right, so that one at least I saw here. And then the one at the end, I ran out of time. What's this one? Oh, is that just, what? Just pawn takes knight? Oh, no, he moves the knight. Okay. And then, what am I not? Oh, I see. Okay. Because the rook's on a 5. Is this a mate threat? I go queen. Yeah, all right. It's a mating net. That's why sometimes those nets are tricky because it doesn't involve a check right away. All right, so I got that one. Okay, so I missed a mating net. I missed a tactic that wins a piece, like a pin type thing. And then what was the other one I missed? I forget. But anyway, I got a score of 20. Now for me, what makes it tricky again is just, it's two things. First of all, I'm a positional player. So I'm looking at Puzzle Rush and I'm like, okay, how many pawns does each player have? Which you probably shouldn't do if you're going for the high score, but I just try to be thorough, because I'm more of a positional grinder. So I guess this is helping me with tactics a bit, but that's one reason. The other thing, it just takes me, because I'm old, like just to kind of like, all right, wait, like whose move is it? Okay, it's black to move and what, you know what I'm saying? Was other guys, I guess, can see within a few seconds, like who its turn it is to move and what the move is. Like it just takes me a little bit to calibrate, but my high score is 25. I'm sure as I do these, I'm looking to get to 30, which I'm sure will happen, at some point, but I'm not obsessed with it. I'm more concerned about just doing these accurately. But again, even just doing one Puzzle Rush a day and reviewing them, even that alone does help, I find. So, all right. So that was my Puzzle Rush example in real time, just to give you an idea. So that's just an example of me doing Puzzle Rush, not ideal conditions because I'm talking, I'm recording, but that's how I use it. I am finding it helpful. I hope this study plan is something that maybe you can use. It's just a resource. It's something to think about. Like I said, you could use it, you can throw it away. Just putting it out there as something I'm using for those stretches of time where things just get, kind of crazy. So some quick reminders. Once again, I'm going to be uploading our entire catalog to our YouTube channel. So it will be full episodes instead of clips. So please subscribe if you haven't already. There's a link in the show notes, or you can just look for the Chess Angle Podcast on YouTube. Also, if you're enjoying the pod, we would love it if you would take a moment to give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Really goes a long way in helping support us. Once again, next week's episode will feature a guest. I'm going to have a new segment called Coffee Talk. That's all I'm going to say on it now. So just wanted to tease that a little bit. That's something new that I'm trying. You'll let me know what you think next week. Looking forward to that. I really appreciate you listening. And as always, I hope you win your next game. Have a great day, everybody.